to do this or what have you. Now the question is just like you said, trying to answer most of the issues you raised. Now another question is there is no denying, there is no longer denial from, in fact, across the quarter, social quarter, to the effect that federal government is in full support or is aiding or even funding the designation of lands in several states for settlement of the Fulani's. You have Ruba, you have so many. If you look at that report, you see many of them. Can't remember. There is the one they formed recently. Now, last year was it 2013? They formed Ministry of Livestock Affairs and so on and so on. Go and check out the persons who are people in those programs and what have you. Most of them are from the same religion, the same ethnic group. So then finally, the governors by colors or direct involvement. It is a well-known fact that throughout Nigeria, going by the provisions of the 1999 Constitution, federal government does not issue C of O. Local government chairman does not issue C of O. The issuance of C of O is left in the exclusivity of the governors. Now, if you look at that publication through research, you see statistical backup, like the incident in Abia State and Obinga, to be precise. Another incident in Ohaji, two communities in Ohaji, Egema, in Imo State. So you ask yourself, who are those that issue these jihadis, certificate of occupancy? That in the case of, there is a place near Obon, whatever in Aba. One of the traditional leaders there raised alarm that the Fulani jihadis have acquired over 5,000 plots of land. Now let me finally rest my case by telling you who are involved. In some cases, some traditional leaders are involved. In some cases, you have what we call troublesome millionaires and billionaires involved. In some cases, you have top government functionaries as agents of this procurement. For instance, in Anambra State in 2001, a former commissioner for Homeland Security was heavily, let me use the word, heavily accused of facilitating procurement of land for these jihadis in Oka North, in Oka South, in Oyi, and many other local government areas across the state. So that is the thing. So it's no longer feeding who are who. Then another one is what is it? This idea of seeding land. State government compelling some communities to seed their farm settlements, farmlands, bushes, and forests for this federal government project. Then the moment those lands are seeded, with in disguise, with state government affected. Some state government always approach such communities with, deceit, telling them that they want to do the world class this or what have you, the cost of it. At the end of the day, the land will simply be transferred to federal government. Who will now transfer the land to these jihadis. And of course, the patrons of the jihadis, Fulani'S made in Nigeria, they have petrol. And their petrol board is still a registered organization in Nigeria. And they have several come out to defend these jihadis. And so that was the time they even attacked Intersociety for cautioning the Southeast governors to be careful of fear. So that is exactly what is happening. And look at what is happening in Benue, and so on and so forth. So my brother, these are the parties, the patterns and threats. How we show these Igbo lands are being seeded. Now you have to say, what is the landmass of Southeast? The region by region, Southeast is occupying 29,525 square kilometers, which is 3 times now approximately 3 times lower than the landmass of Niger State alone. Niger State landmass is 76,363 square kilometers, approximately 3 times more than the total landmass of the Southeast. And why I mention Niger State is that Niger State is a middle belt of North Central agro-fertile state that has the capacity to swallow all the cows in Nigeria they are rearing. So what are they doing here in the Southeast? It's a tiny landmass of 29,555 square kilometers. So who is following who? Why? What is it? Thank you.
All right. Can you really claim that the place is occupied if the locals are aware of this, the presence of these people? Like you mentioned, a few chiefs, a few Igwes are aware of their presence. Can you really claim that they are occupying your land if, people who are the original owners of those lands are aware and they allowed it?
Straight to the point, it's very funny. There is a link we attach in that report. I have just made the reference to it. That report, that link was the link to the report we did in 2021, and we got it released on 25th May 2021, alerting the Igbo communities and their leaders and natives on what is going on. Do you know the level of attack we received from that period? So many natives were calling us names from left, right, and center. No, some people said they have called their community, and we just said nothing like that. Now, 5 years later, or 4 years later, somebody went and dusted, I don't know who did it. Somebody went and dusted that particular field research. And we received more than 1,000 WhatsApp messages and email messages from concerned individuals thinking that research work was done. In fact, that was even what prompted us to go into this particular advancement, to take this advancement approach. So let me summarize your question. The truth of the matter is that going by patterns and trends used by these jihadists and their backers, including state authorities, federal state authorities, excuse me, don't identify you. I can tell you that the greater number of natives of those communities, such communities, are not aware. Why? Because those occupiers, the Fulani'S men, are not there with them in their market squares or schools or township. I mean, they are town, what do you call it, urban areas. How do they occupy? They move at night. In Nigeria, they are referred to as people of the forest, while the Jaws are referred to people of the water people. So they move at night, late night, incidentally and unfortunately under the protection of the deployed security forces. So that's how they move. And where do they move to? To isolated settlements like communal farmlands, farm settlements, bushes, forests. Forests includes all those forests dedicated or designated for all these ancient Igbo oracles and deities. That's how they move. And of course, like for instance, there is this big forest in the Kano East, in Kano East, called Ohia Atonshi. You know, Atonshi, they mean Aronsi. So that's what they call Atonshi. Egu, Ago, they call it Egu. So that place is in the central Igbo language. I'm referring to Agu Dene forest, Ohia Atonshi forest, Ohia Atonshi forest, which those people call Ohia Atonshi. I have a powerful reverend father who is a professor who is from there. So that's such distance. And they have made inroads. Fulani men have encroached into that land since March 2020. And that was the reason why, that was reason for the bad blood between soldiers of Nigerian army and the community leaders, including the leader of the community up to today. At a time, the family stand that place and said, if you don't teach out all this, in fact, all youth in your community are IPOB and USM members. People, because of what? If they mobilize their youth and they march out the Fulani'S men who occupied Obia, I will say Obia Atonshi forest in ENUGU. That forest by about others have boundary, joined about 3 communities, Oruku and states like that, and there are 3 communities in that area. I'm just giving you an example. If you go to Ohafia, what is the source of a rift between soldiers of Nigeria and particularly 14th Brigade Ohafia and the leaders, traditional leaders, that is Economic of Ohafia Kingdom? That's the root. It is because of the same Fulani'S men. The people said, no, Fulani cannot come and take over our land. Then the soldiers, go as we speak, just go it, we see it on the parade. More soldiers elected the of that community as facilitators of training ground for TSN and the IPOB and what have you. How many will I count? Even in this, what is this community in Imo State? We visited in 2023. Under this Itanansa, Esiawa, Itanansa, all those there is a particular community, Akamanalasa, of the Itanansa. The traditional rulers palace of that community was very down because of the same issue. And so on and so forth. Or in Edema, what is it, Edema? The Ondo Oguta local government. What is the name of that community? I've forgotten the name of that community. One of the traditional rulers, one of the ex-traditional rulers, a very good friend of Inter Society. Now, all the Westmen occupied their place and they protested. Since then to today, they have met Nigerian army. Soldiers of Nigerian army have gone around them for rest. So you can go on and on and on and on. So the summary of the whole thing is that, straight to your question again, is that it is correct to say that greater number of natives of the affected communities are not aware that Fulani'S men are taking over their forests. So that is the simple truth. Why? Because those people, by the time they move, they use light. There was a youth leader back in 2023 that was abducted. He was going back to Shuka or Muturu, and they abducted him and all that. Do you know within the space of 4 days, they engaged the Fulani'S men, forced them into trekking, and they covered the entire office by trekking. Because these people know the actual way, all these, it's a short, they know the shorter way, routes to that take, that is rooted in each of these forests in each of these states. The offer just giving the account of how they are taking around the southeast. They busted into Delta, from there to Ezagu, from Ezagu to other places like Abia, Anambra, this, that. Before you know it, they covered the entire southeast state. It was amazing. In 4 days, with the leg. So you see, so in most cases, people do not. That is why, even in your community now, it says you people don't have forests. If you people have forests in your community now, if you, it's assuming you go back, you return home. And some friends say, why don't you go to the forest in nearby your community and check out outside? I don't think you will go. Nobody dares to do that because of fear of, look, what if I go inside that forest and get killed and get abducted and what I do? because you don't even know when they move into that place and occupy their forests. And they, like I say, it is not an isolated case, it is not accidental, it was systematically coordinated with the state structure backing. Thank you.
Quite an interesting expose that you are putting out there. Another point I actually wanted to make is, do you think that the governors are aware of this occupation? Do you think that they are aware? And do you also think that these occupation of some sort is destructive to the community? Do you think there's a sinister plan to cause chaos or cause mayhem? Because I mean, at least to the extent I know, the Constitution doesn't stop anybody from living anywhere, from being or staying, anywhere. Do you think that this occupation is a grand plan to dovetail into something sinister? What are your thoughts on all of these?
Let me forget this one, because people, I think I have to use this opportunity to address that issue. Of course, I'm a criminologist by training, graduate of security studies. Also in human rights, and I'm very, very comfortable with the sections of the 1999 Constitution. From section 1 to the last section, 320. So I'm aware. So it is not true. It is not correct to say that any citizen has a right to move, freedom of movement in any part of the country. Just like that. But it is correct to say that every citizen has a right to lawfully move. Lawfully move. It's not when you carry AK-47, you go and occupy my place, and if I ask you, you say, Constitution allows you to do that. It's not true. Everything you must do, every right you must enjoy in the Constitution of freedom must be that is lawfully guided. So let me correct that impression. Then secondly, sorry, you ask whether the governors are aware. In law, in criminal law, there are two types of culpability. One is called direct culpability. The other one is vicarious culpability or involvement. So if governors are trying to exonerate themselves from being directly involved, they cannot exonerate themselves from being vicariously involved. As we speak, you can check out the meaning of vicarious liability on your Google here. So, what am I trying to say? The governors are aware. In fact, my own thing is that even if they say they are not directly aware, they are indirectly aware. So they cannot escape it. Let me also tell you how they are directly aware. Let them come out and tell us that none of them has issued a certificate of occupancy to any Fulani group. Or let me say one native group. Yes.
Don't worry.
Are we communicating?
Yes, go ahead, please.
So let the governors of the Southeast like the number. 4 of them are Catholics. One is a member of a Seventh-day Adventist Church. That is the governor of Abia State. 4 others are Catholics. We are meant to understand that our eye Papa Night Route now or in Puchon.
Don't bother yourself. I'll give it to you later.
All right.
Link. Watching.
Emeka, I'm so sorry, Emeka. We'd have to leave it there because of time. Some of the time we're going to really explore this further because it's actually a very important topic. So thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate it.
So what I'm saying is that the government are
Stay with us.
Yeah, aware. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Emeka, for your time. We appreciate you. Some other time, I'm sure that we're going to call you for an expanded discussion regarding this development. Thank you again. We're back after this to stay with us.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
With a population of about 36 million people, the Southeast is awash with stories. Every day on Southeast News, we tell the peculiar story of the Southeast and her people.
Our Southeast should be the Silicon Valley of Nigeria.
Their successes, achievements, and daily challenges. Do you have a Southeast story to share? Community achievements and challenges, completed and uncompleted projects, bad roads, water scarcity, erosion, flooding, insecurity, or even disagreements? Bring it on to Southeast News. On Southeast News, no story is too big or too small. Southeast News. Let's tell our story. Showing on Signature TV every weekday at 4 p.m. WAT, 1600 hours GMT.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and